All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Today on the show, we have Shawna over from Only Single Player. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Let them know what it is you do.
Hey guys, I'm Shawna, and I am a PC reviewer for Only Single Player. I also do podcasts, live streams, and soon I will be doing Let's Plays and First Impressions. That's basically it.
Yeah, today she's on so we can talk about a game that came out on Steam recently. Originally, it was a phone game, ported over to Wii U. This year, I think it's when it came out on Steam. The 15th? That sounds right. But yeah, the game itself is Alphadia Genesis. And is there any point in the game you'd like to start with?
I don't know. No, I think you should go first because I think you have a, I guess, better understanding of it than I do.
Like, how far through the game did you make it? Like, did you ever get around to beating it?
I did not. I actually was going to this past week because you had this, and I was like, I should probably beat the game so we can talk thoroughly. But I ended up, no, I didn't.
So good. Well,
I got pretty far though. I got to where it got slightly.
you started cutting out for a minute there.
Oh, sure. Let me close everything. All right, is that better?
Indeed.
Okay. I got to where it got pretty interesting, and I do want to go back and try to finish it, but I wasn't able to this week. I had a lot of projects to do on OSP, so.
Yeah, well, for everyone listening then, I guess we should probably explain what Alphadia Genesis actually is.
That would be good, yes.
Yeah, it was basically an indie title. It's like an old school JRPG style game. On a whole, it's pretty much made to harken back to a lot of your older titles, like back from the Super Nintendo and PlayStation era. So it's kind of made in part to be a nostalgia trip for older RPG fans. Like, did you ever play some of those older games, or?
I did, yeah. I remember Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics. My favorite RPG, I guess I made it clear in my article, is Legend of Dragoon, where Dart looks a lot like Frey, the main character from Alphadia Genesis, which I found pretty funny.
I'm not sure if that was intentional.
But yeah, my RPG history goes back. Do what?
I'm not sure if that was an intentional callback on their part or not. I think so.
I don't know. I feel like if it was intentional, they would have done more to make more things intentional. Like, I feel like they wouldn't just give one throwback. Because I only caught that one, I didn't catch any others.
Possibly. Like, I think most of their throwbacks are more like an overall theme or presentation. Like, I adore just the opening overworld text crawl they did, where it's like scrolling over all of the different landscapes, and you have like the introductory text
that was
crawl.
Yeah, the introductory was awesome. I will give you that. But then after that, I was like, I can't do this. I'm hating on it more than I actually hated it. It was a decent game. Like I said in the article, I feel like if it was the first RPG I played, I would have liked it a lot more. I don't know if I was just expecting too much. I don't know. What was something that you liked about it?
I actually really like and kind of hated the weird element customization setup they have. Like, all of the characters have their like innate element tree, and then you can equip them with the ring that gives them access to one of the two others.
Yeah.
I
I would
kind
like
of
that if you could do your stats. But you
like, what do
have
you mean? Like,
preset stats that you can't manipulate any stats. You can't. Um, Basically, this is how Frey is going to be. We're going to put the stats and everything that he needs to proceed. You can't manipulate it at all. The only thing you have reign over is the rings.
I don't mind that too much. 'Cause, like, I started playing RPGs back like on the Super Nintendo, so I'm used to having like that party
Mm-hmm.
of characters where your characters have like their specific stats and abilities. But where I don't think it's much of a
Mm-hmm.
problem is you do have like characters to switch in and out. So you still have
That's
a
true.
fair bit of control over how your party is going to fight, what you can do, even if you can't
And
control it.
they level with you even if they're not in your party.
Indeed. Like, I'm kind of don't like that it's a little too simple on the set with the elements. So like the fire tree is always this. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter who gets it. This is what your fire tree does.
Yep.
That part I didn't quite like so much, but it was a game developed for mobile phones originally.
Yeah, that's true. Like I don't want to say I was too harsh on it, but I think that if they're going to port something that they could at least I don't know, I think even for like a phone game, at least have the grammar correct. Like translate it properly.
I didn't think the grammar came across as too bad for the most part, but
It
like my first
the
RPG
not
that oh, sorry, go on.
no, sorry, you guys.
I was gonna say, like, I played again back on the Super Nintendo era, which while some fantastic RPGs were there, this was before they put much effort into these full localization teams.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
You had just fantastic lines like talking to an NPC and him just going, "Do you have an ogreish one?" And that's it. There's
Yep.
So maybe it's
That's
just standards I was used to growing up. This game.
yeah, that's I'm battling that because I mean, I even mentioned that it borders on nostalgia and then annoyance. Like if if you're not used to that kind of thing, then it can be really confusing and annoying. And even me, who I'm like you, I was on the Super Nintendo playing these games and PS1 and all that, and it's still like I'm a writer, and that might be where it's coming from. I nitpick on things like that because I have to. Because when I write and I read it back, I have to catch my own mistakes. And so I'm wondering if that's maybe why I'm so like honing in on this. But it's like the spelling, some of the spelling was off, the grammar was off, and then for them to have so much dialogue but not pay attention to what they're saying is really annoying.
Like the grammar doesn't really
Like
bother me.
90% of
Oh, go on.
oh my goodness. It was I'm just amazed at how much dialogue was in that game.
Like
That's it.
as far as like spelling, it bothers me a bit more than like the other grammar mistakes for speech. As long as you like see the grammar mistakes in speech specifically at least somewhat consistent, so that
Right.
it feels like you're listening to somebody talk.
That's true.
Now, grammar mistakes and like exposition that comes up on screen will annoy me a lot more.
Hmm. Yeah, I can
But
understand that.
yeah, as far as dialogue, it just doesn't bother me because nobody speaks with proper grammar.
Hmm.
But yeah. how then do you feel like about all of the characters you get in the game? Like your playable ones?
They're cookie cutter. The most interesting one was the one that hated everybody, and I couldn't even
Walter.
get into it. Yeah, I couldn't. It made me feel bad for the main character because he's just so naive, like a little bit too naive. But it's the same process. It's you have your main character who's an orphan, who's either the grudging one or the naive one. They decided to go naive. With his little sidekick, who happens to be his sister. It's either a sister or love interest. That's a sidekick. And then you have the love interest, and then this brooding guy who has a severe problem with Frey. and then the other ones I enjoyed. Actually, if it wasn't your main party, I enjoyed them a lot more. I enjoyed the father of the... Yeah, I don't remember any of the names. It's been a little while. And yeah, I really like that whole dynamic. I think all the story outside of the main characters was really good.
Yeah, Grande was probably like my favorite character out of all of your party members.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the interactions between him and the... Wow, I'm trying to remember the name of the clone girl that's in your party.
The clone girl?
You know.
Yeah, I know, because he kind of adopts her in a way and then abuses her accidentally.
That was so
My
funny.
favorite part was the getting on the ship, and she's riding on his shoulders, and just bam, and she falls down, all 2D dimensional like. Hilarious.
I love that spot.
God, that was so good.
But yeah, like, I really like those two. Like, I like your little sister. I wish I remembered her name, but...
I really like her, but it's like she's too convenient. Like, where's the struggle now that you have a little sister genius conveniently that the king decides to allow her to go on this mission with you, which you didn't even want to do to begin with. Like, and none of this... Okay, I'm trailing off a little bit, but the story is bullcrap. Like, the beginning... For all of you people listening, here's the beginning of the game. You're in a tournament. You end up winning this tournament of fighting, whatever. I don't even know what you were doing. But basically, you were fighting other knights. You were fighting other people to get this championship. And apparently, your character has done this before, and you lost last year. So this year, you're really bringing it on. You end up winning, and this knight who's about to retire really wants to bring you into their system. The king wants you on his system. They want you to make you what, a knight? Is it a knight? I feel like that's the wrong term. They want you in the guild.
Well, you're in the guild.
You're in the guild, but they want you in...
They want you, like,
something.
as an official knight of some kind. I think it's
an
the
official
king's
knight.
That might not be the term they use, but it's basically the same.
But you're basically a knight for the king. You're fighting for the king. And you straight up say, no, I'm not interested. Then literally 2 minutes later, the king himself asks you to go on this mission to vouch for the clones that are supposedly going crazy and killing people. It's like, did you not just listen to me? I said no. Like, I don't want to be your knight, and yet you're sending me on this thing. Not only does the king send you on this mission that you said no to begin with, he gives you no means to take care of yourself. You're left with no gold, no tents, very little potions. Like, he's like, I'm going to send you on this quest, but I'm not going to help you with this quest. You're not a knight for me, but I'm going to let you go do this dangerous mission and not pay you for it. Like, I don't understand. And then this little girl comes along. She looks like 12. And she's like, oh, I'm a genius and know everything about these clones that are supposedly going crazy. And, oh, by the way, I'm your sister. I want to go with you. And although the brother's like, no, it's too dangerous and I love you, the king's like, you know what? That might be a good idea. We should send our best person ever that's working in my science lab to go with you on this mission. Like, no, I'm not on board with this at all.
I don't know. I'm just used to the child characters in the RPGs. Like, if you're making a game that's like supposed to be a throwback to a lot of older titles, you're almost obligated to have the child character in your party.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that is true. But a genius, really? That works for the king? Like, I just feel like it was a cop out. I think that's what it is. I'm very story based. Anything I read, any music I listen to has to have a story behind it. I love it. I just love story. And for me, that's just a cop out. That's just saying, oh, convenience, you know? So it's like I feel like I think why I'm so like animate about this is because it had so much potential to be a really good game, and it just didn't cut it for me because of these slight things that they could have fixed. They could have just easily gone in there and just nipped a little bit, and it'd be a great RPG.
Like, in terms of your sister being the scientist involved, like, I really don't have an issue with that because, well, it gives you at least some kind of connection between the characters.
Yeah,
Like,
and they do have cute dialogue. Like I do enjoy that character a lot, especially as his sister.
but I think if I have a problem with like how the characters are done and presented, it's mostly Corone and Frey. Like your
Oh my lord, I can't stand her.
like,
Her and him. I think you're right.
like I didn't mind the two of them at first, but as time goes on, it's like they don't really have any flaws as characters.
Right.
They're just like
She's
your
scored top in her kingdom. She's super assassin.
wait assassin.
I was really hoping
I remember nothing about assassin being brought up.
she'd be evil. Called. Whatever they're called. Knight
The divas.
or yeah.
I'm getting you kind of cut in and out again.
Crud.
Yeah.
My back.
I'd say try just like disconnecting and then just re-clicking that link I sent you.
All right, let's see.
Maybe.
Wish me luck.
All right. Yes, we should be back on with her in just a moment. In the meantime, you get to listen to my pointless rambling. How lucky you all must feel. The whole one viewer. And welcome back.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sweet.
Alright, so we were talking about Corone being one of the divas.
Yes.
Which,
At least.
yeah, they don't really give context to divas other than, oh, she's one of the diva people, or whatever they were called.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called. All I know is that the angry guy always commented on her being like the top dog of whatever they were. That she was the strongest and that she had no reason to be mingling with Frey.
Yeah, kind of the snooty noble archetype guy.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
he
is
was
the
to
whole
protect
reason
her.
they made-
Do what?
I think that's the whole reason they wanted Frey to not technically be a knight, is to spur some of the dialogue between the two.
But they didn't stir like it well enough. They didn't execute it well, I guess.
Yeah, I think the problem with that mostly comes down to Frey just not being very interesting as a person.
Yeah, no, he was not. And I don't know if it's because they wanted to put like you into it, but whatever the reason, it didn't work.
Yeah, I think they wanted to kind of, as you said, make it like you feel like this is you playing through, but they also wanted
Hmm.
that love interest there, meaning they had to try to give him some specific dialogue so they couldn't go silent protagonist. You end up
I
at kind of
guess.
this awkward intersection of too much dialogue and personality for you to just throw yourself into it, but not enough to actually make it interesting.
That's exactly what happened. That that dialogue though, it was so bad. It was so long. Like my favorite way to explain how the dialogue works is like 90% of it is, oh, well, we should do this because this didn't work. Like, no matter what you do or where you go, that's not where you're supposed to go and do. Like, oh, we did the thing. Oh, wait, he's not here. We need to go travel, blah, 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 blah. And then someone else is going to be like, yeah, let's travel there. I think it's in the south. And the other guy is like, yeah, I think we go there by this way. It's like, don't tell me what to do. That's part of the game is for me to do it. Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
it felt like a
Yeah.
lot of padding.
Yeah, it's very unnecessary. It's like I could just look at the map and figure out where to go. It's like I don't think there's been one RPG, except maybe Legend of Dragoon, that has, it's really hard to figure out where to go or it's too easy to figure out where to go. To the point where you're no longer playing the game's just kind of doing it for you. Like they
Indeed.
need to find a nice balance because they do so well with mapping. They make this whole world, but you can't enjoy it because it's either too easy or too hard.
Indeed. Like, I think the reason they try to add those padded segments is so they could kind of try to get the dialogue between characters going without feeling too forced. But too much of that was Frey and Corone, who just aren't interesting, and not enough of
Yeah,
it
no.
was everybody else.
Yeah, it's like everybody else had really good potential. Like the brooding guy that tried to protect Corone all the time, he was funny. The sister was extremely amusing. They had so much room to use the clone in your party. Like they at the very beginning when you first meet her, it's interesting and you have this odd sense about her and you have all these theories running in your head because she's so mute, she's so confused, she's like a newborn with intellect,
Yeah.
and they could have done so much more with her and they didn't.
Like,
Like they did enough to keep it going, but they didn't do enough to satisfy that character need.
yeah, like the it started going really well once Grande was introduced to the mix.
Yeah.
Just like the connection he like made with pretty much every one of your party members was interesting. Like even with Frey and Corone, which that was really just bogged down by again them being dull characters.
Hmm. Which is bad because you control Frey. Like that's your
Yeah,
character. You completely mute or completely interesting. You can't have it middle ground.
indeed.
But
Like
I will give it to them that there were some points after Grande was introduced that I'm screaming at the characters, no, don't do that. Like, spoiler alert, because this is kind of midway through the game, where his son is convinced to leave because he's told that everybody's dying because of these clones. He's
yeah, and,
given misinformation.
yeah.
And I'm like, no, don't listen to him. He's the bad guy. Like, that got me.
Did you get to where like that whole story with those two actually resolves yet?
No.
I won't spoil it for you, but that is the best part of this game.
I'll have to continue it because, like I said, it's good for people who have never played an RPG, and I make it sound in my article that I'm downing people that like it who have played RPGs, and I didn't mean to do that at all. I just meant like for people who are expecting a next era of RPG,
No.
this is not the game to play
No.
by any means. That's what I meant, because after I reread it because I wanted to see like maybe our comparisons and contrasts with your article and mine. And as I read it, I was like, wow, it sounds like I'm being a real jerk to people who enjoyed this game. That's definitely not what I meant. I just meant that because it's 2015, that I automatically assumed that this game was going to be a next-gen JRPG. Definitely not. At all. However, I will say that I wish I was given this RPG when I was younger and started playing JRPGs. Final Fantasy VIII was my first real RPG.
Oh,
and right? I was so confused. Like, it took me years to beat that game. Honest to God, and I hate to admit this in front of a crowd of people, I went through there's 4 discs, in case you've never played it on PlayStation. 4 discs. I went through 2.5 of those discs without equipping one thing. Because I did not know how to equip anything. And every time I tell that story, they're like, you can't get 2.5 discs through without equipping. I'm like, by God, I did it because I did not know how to equip. I like to call it hard mode. It wasn't me being stupid.
That depends. How much
mode.
did you grind levels in that game, or did you just like kind of shoot through?
I grinded. Oh, wait, on Final Fantasy VIII or on Alphadia?
On Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, I grinded. Oh, grinding. I didn't even know the term grinding, okay? And I grinded so much. Yeah, no. There's so much grinding in that.
That is weird then, because like the game doesn't tell you this, but enemies scale with you in Final Fantasy VIII.
That
Like once you
makes a
pass
lot
a
of
certain
sense,
level,
yes.
their stats will go up. Like it's not every level, if I recall right. It's like benchmark levels.
Every 5, yeah. I don't know. But see, I didn't know that, and I grinded because I didn't know that. So most of my time grinding was a waste of my time, yes. But I did it because I assumed that I would outlevel my area. That's why it took me years to freaking do it. It took me like a full year to get 2.5 discs through, and I played avidly. And no one explained. Well, I guess I didn't. And then finally, my boyfriend at the time was like, I don't see why you're having trouble when you equip everything. I'm like, what's that mean? He's like, oh my God, Shawna. Let's just say I beat that game within months after that.
Like, Final Fantasy VIII is one of the few Final Fantasies I haven't beaten, but not because I found it too hard, but by the time I made it to Future Esther, I'm like, no, this is too dumb. This is just too
I enjoy it because it was my first one, so I love it because of that, but I agree.
Hate that game.
Had I played 7 or 9 first, I would not have gone through 8 like I did.
I started with 4 back on the Super.
I was too busy like playing Zelda.
Oh, Zelda was awesome.
Those games were my life until Final Fantasy came about. But yeah, so that being said, Alphadia Genesis does not live up to the hype of this day in game, but I would have loved to have played Alphadia Genesis back then.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, I saw Alphadia Genesis, I say, hey, this is a $15 game. Of course it's not going to be a big next-gen thing. It's a $15 Steam game that was ported from a phone.
That's true. I didn't know that because with the site I work for, they provide the game. So all I had to do was download and play. I like to do that. I like to go in not having a clue what it's about. I don't look it up. I don't do anything because I like doing a first impression. I feel like it's easier for me to give an unbiased opinion when I don't know what other people think about it first. So I didn't even look this up. I had no idea what this was. All I knew was that it was on the phone. And I don't have, like, a smartphone, so I didn't know what that meant. I didn't... The graphics were terrible and that... And the graphics aren't terrible in the sense that they're dumbed down, kind of like the older things. I love that. I love that about the game. It's the fact that they try to incorporate a move because it's a 2D, like, top-down game. It's like the frantic looking back and forth. Their whole body flips.
Yeah.
I thought my game was glitching. I was like, what is going on? What? I downloaded it right?
But did you come across Nils yet? He's one of the 3
Yes.
clones.
Yes.
I'd feel very awkward about finding the relationship with like him and your sister mildly touching because it's really kind of creepy.
It is. And you can tell that they didn't mean for it to be that creepy.
Well, he mentions
Like,
the fact she's underage at one point, so...
Yeah, but I feel like it's got this new factor in it that they didn't intend for. I was personally uncomfortable. Like it rubbed me the wrong way. It was weird. Like
I don't know if that was their intention or not, though.
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't feel like that they intended it to be that creepy. I don't know if it was mistranslation or if it was just Japan being Japan. I mean, come on, let's face it, they're kind of weird.
Here's the thing. I don't know technically how old each of those characters is supposed to be. Like, is she just mildly
that is true. We are
mildly overage?
I mean, Frey's got to be just... I don't think they have too much of a difference in age because they both were young when their parents died.
Yeah.
He said that he had to take care of them both, but he was young too. So she was alive and old enough to understand. So I feel like the age gap is only by a couple years, if that.
Yeah.
But she looks like she's 10.
Here's the thing, though, like... This is going to sound weird, but if you've seen Japanese people, there's this long age period they have where they look the same age. So when we see them and they look underage, this may not necessarily be the case to the people who designed them. They may be wearing, she's not that young, what are you talking about? But you know,
age of consent could be completely different over there.
I think the youngest in Japan is 14, depending, but this is going off random crap I've heard, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So it's really hard to, like...
Really weird coming up on Google.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird looking at, like, Nils and... I wish I remembered her name because she was one of the more interesting characters, but...
Yeah, really. Let's see.
Such a well-written, like, dialogue and stuff between those two. But there's just that thing in the back of your mind, this is awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But again...
because it's 13, we were right. Age of consent in China is 14, but 13 is definitely Japan's. So maybe, to them, they probably don't have a problem with it. They're like, here's this little kid genius. Go at her. Have fun.
And again, I don't think
so weird.
the difference is as much as it looks like from looking at the character models for us, because again, they just doesn't sound like they're that far apart, just far enough for him to comment on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a big brother, so even if they were like 3 months apart, which is impossible.
Oh, I'm referring to Nils.
He's going to be protective.
The redheaded guy.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about Frey.
No, it's Nils and her relationship that's kind of odd.
Kind of looked older.
Yeah.
by a lot.
But it's so well written. And the payoff you
The-
get to all of that is also fantastic. So,
I still don't know about the writing. I still feel like it's fantastic and the for me.
what was that? You cut out again.
It's like I'll it's that it's fantastic in the ironic sense for me, like the writing style,
I
because
don't
it
know, like,
shouldn't be that.
yeah, like, for me, it jumps between, like, bland and boring, like, with Frey and Corone, to some great moments, like the payoff for Grande's arc and your little sister and Nils' whole little setup.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those end wonderfully. But the
Don't know
game
about
does
ending.
have a lot more meh moments than those arcs do.
Yeah,
So it's a mixed bag with
that's why I
writing.
didn't make it. I feel like what I'm gonna have to do, because I do want to finish it, because it's not worth it for $15, but I don't have to pay for it, so I will play it more. It's it took way too long to get interested in it. I played like 9 hours of actual playing. Like I AFK'd for a while, so I said I played like 12 hours, but I didn't. Um, and I want to read everything. I want to understand the story. I want to get in depth with it. You can't afford to do that in this game. You can't afford to go, all right, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's sit down and read everything. No, what I'm going to have to do is just click through all the dialogue and then finally get to where you can play the game. Because only when you get introduced to Grande enough to keep playing. Until then, I just wanted to cry. It was just bad.
I didn't think it was terrible before
I
that. It was
thought,
just generic.
yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I got bored, and when I get bored, I cannot focus. Like it has to keep my interest. And as I had to go in with the mindset that I was writing a review, so of course, my first thought is this review is going to go badly because I'm bored right now, and I shouldn't be.
I don't know, for the beginning of the game, like, how well set up the combat was carried it for me, which the story wasn't so bad. I'm like, this isn't worth putting up with. Just,
Mm-hmm.
there's some interesting moments. Combat's fun, though, so that
There are
carried
some pretty
a good chunk
humorous.
of it.
Let's get into combat a little bit. The ring system is good. So basically, as we touched on before, you get clear rings, and you're able to put elements into them and give them back to your characters, which, as they level up, you can upgrade the rings and kind of manipulate what moves they get based on that. What I liked is there's very little grinding that has to be done. There's absolutely no grinding if you're on easy mode. There's easy and normal. Is there a hard mode? Because I didn't see one.
No, unless it's unlocked later, but
Oh,
I've
okay.
not seen it, so I don't think
Yeah,
there's.
I haven't seen it either. Easy mode, you don't have to grind at all. You're just very straight through. Which, again, if this is your first RPG, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Um,
More
normal.
RPGs need an easy mode for new players.
I kind of agree. Like, I don't. I'm on the fence about that. I could play devil's advocate with that a little bit. I feel like the way I went about RPGs when I first started is really, really wrong. Um, but if I went about it correctly, I feel like it builds a character in you to be able to do things. Like, it's a personal achievement when you say you've beaten a JRPG, because there is no easy mode. So everybody universally understands that you had to do certain things in order to beat this game. And that kind of gives you a trophy, you know. On the other hand, I haven't beaten a lot of RPGs because they're really hard. So I'm like, if this was on easy mode, maybe I can enjoy it more. So I'm on the fence about it. But, I mean, You could always say, hey, I beat this on normal mode. I
Yeah.
guess get the same effect. So,
Well, how I look at it, there's definitely games that I don't think really need it. But I do think there needs to be more games out there to kind of help introduce people to more niche genres. Like
I fully
one
agree
of,
with this, yes.
one of those games should not be anything Shin Megami Tensei makes, for example. Like, have you played any of the Persona games or the Shin Megami titles?
Yes.
Like, if you get like Persona 3 and play that on easy mode, that is still harder than just about any other
I was about to
JRPG.
say, you're doing really good if you play that on easy mode. Oh, man.
Like,
I don't even want to think about those.
I love those games so much.
I
But
have a
yeah,
love-hate relationship with those games.
give me like when I picked up Persona 4, I'm like, hey, I made it through Persona 3 FES on hard mode. I'm just starting off Persona 4 on hard mode.
Oh,
I
God,
can
no.
happily claim I'm apparently one of the few people who beat Shadow Yukiko the first go.
Oh, dear God.
I don't know
I've
if
only
you're
heard nightmares about that game. I haven't played it.
all right with Shadow Yukiko. Like, well, you know what TV tropes is, right? It has like all the different
Yeah.
character tropes, and they have the game tropes page.
Mm-hmm.
There's two tropes that come up on there. One of them is that one boss. No, it's pretty much just hearing the title, self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got the horror story about this boss. Then there is the wake-up call boss. It's the boss that when you get to it, it just whoops you so bad. And basically, it's there to set the tone for what to expect for the rest of the game.
Nice.
In Persona 4, not only is this the only instance both of those apply to the same boss, but the first boss of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you have an idea of how the whole element exploit system in the Personas work, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, when you fight Shadow Yukiko, you only have those first three party members. One
Mm-hmm.
of them is weak to fire, and you can't switch them out right now because they're your only three.
Mm-hmm.
She has a group fire attack. Now, unlike Persona 3, if you hit someone with a group ability and one person triggers what would normally give you the additional turn, it will still give it to you, rather than where in 3 it has to affect every target you hit. So if they drop that group
Oh.
fire attack, it can hit Chie, and then go again, possibly dropping the same attack a second time. Like, oh wow.
I see.
So I immediately figured
Oh,
out
that's
the
fantastic.
trick to win this fight. It's like you can guard with somebody in this one, and if they're hit with what their weakness, it won't knock them down. So you guard
Mm-hmm.
with until she dies, and then you leave her dead because her being alive is a liability to this fight.
See, that's another thing I really respect about games like that. There's always one in order to win, and you have to figure it out. It's like all Legend of Zeldas are like that. There's always a key to these things, and some Final Fantasies are like that, where I've had it to where I've had to kill one of the members in order for them not to be a liability. And I'll say it.
But yeah,
For me.
yeah, going back to the general theme though, is I do love that that easy mode is there. Not that normal mode's too challenging, really.
It's really not.
Well, normal mode in Alphadia Genesis, I don't know if you've hit the point you started to notice this, but it is the weirdest difficulty spike I've ever seen. Like, the enemy's defenses are going up slowly, but their damage output skyrockets.
I I did normal mode first, and I think what I did was I grinded in the beginning because for games like Final Fantasy, Legend Dragoon, anything like that, you only have one section where you can use like a healing spring or a healing circle and use that to your benefit. So you can grind around there without using any potions, using any money, and you can just go to that spring and heal yourself. Keep grinding, heal yourself. Keep grinding, heal yourself. And then you're so OP that you can just run through the rest of the game. So I'm used to doing, let's face it. And so I did that in normal mode. So I don't think I noticed. I did notice that increased, but it didn't because I grinded so much at the beginning, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just let it go. That's another fault that it has. It just all of a sudden their attack just goes up like crazy.
But with how bad it gets in Genesis, though, like, I get to the last boss, gets 2 actions. He can practically kill half your party in 1 turn. But once you get an offense on him, it's like 2 or 3 turns, the fight's over.
Yeah, I remember you reading about that in your article. I thought that was funny. I didn't fight the last boss.
I've never seen a game do this before. Like, once you realize that, if you're experienced with the RPGs, it's easy enough to figure out how to tackle the fight without much problem.
Right.
But I don't really know how to react to that.
Yeah, I can't imagine why it did that, other than the fact that it is a phone. It did come out on the smartphone or the Android or whatever. Like, I keep referring to Legend Dragon because, again, it's my favorite. And that last boss, if you've beaten it, oh my lord, you'll think that you've beaten it, and you get sucked through this new dimension, and he's fully regenerated. He's a completely different size, and it's like you have to do that 5 or 6 times before you actually beat it. It takes like hours to beat that last boss. And it's similar with every JRPG. Every main boss takes strategy and takes time, and is very overwhelming. Alphadia Genesis didn't seem to do that, like, at all. Like, I feel like they wanted to psych you out because the last boss is so, I guess, so strong and will take out half your party. But then you have that small window of opportunity, you just lay it out on him and he's dead. Like,
yeah.
Dang it. Is that what happened?
Basically. Like, it took me a few tries to beat him, but that's because you're on the defensive so much, and there's just a chance that he's not going to stop the brutal assault.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
How odd.
Yeah, there's not really anything you can do other than just hope it hits that point. You can lay him out.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
it's
just
not really
like,
a challenge. It's just kind of unfair and annoying.
so it's like solitaire. Everything is just based off your luck.
Kind of.
The luck of the draw.
Yeah.
I guess solitaire is a bad example. I was just trying to think of.
Yeah, because he doesn't really have an attack pattern. At least nothing I noticed. I mean, I'm sure now someone's going to point out, well, you could just do this, and I'm going to feel like an idiot. But
I don't know. I don't think many people have played this game, so.
yeah, and most people apparently don't finish games anyway, so I may be one of the only people who've actually beaten the game now.
I mean, when I looked through Steam after I sent the review, I was like, I wonder what other people think. And there was just like, it's a good, cute little game. Didn't finish it. Like, no one's finished it. It might have changed now, but when I was doing it, they didn't finish it. Yeah. I'm interested just because I want to know. I want to know what the story ends up doing.
Like,
but
I actually really like the overall plot and world the game was building with, like, the whole clones, the idea that they're being woken up, but they're gaining, like, actual emotions. So there is this whole conflict over what to do about them. They don't
human rights and all that.
Yeah, they don't do a very good job showing, like, that there's different viewpoints on this, because everyone just kind of seems to be on the same page.
Except, like, the king that Corona and what's his face.
Even he's not entirely
Like, didn't
off the page, though. Like, he's the most
so where I left off, he was just like, I don't like clones.
he's like the most extreme opposition you see, but the more you see him, he's
still
really
not that extreme.
that against it. It's the most he looks at it like is stuff can go horribly wrong, and he's pretty much the only one considering the putting all the clones back into cryostasis. But it's not out of a hatred of clones or anything. It's out of like a genuine, and in case of what's actually going on in the game, an understandable viewpoint, and that's the strongest.
Yeah, I mean
clones you get.
He's sitting here like, I don't know, those clones killed a guy. We might want to put them back into cryostasis. I don't know though. Go investigate. But I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you started cutting out again. I heard. I'm pretty sure that.
I was saying that the king's just sitting back, and he's like killing people. We might want to put him in cryostasis. I don't know. Maybe.
Alright. Like, I'll say this without, like, spoiling the actual ending for you, but when you beat the game, it kind of puts you back to right before you fight the last boss, so you can do it again to unlock the other ending, which I haven't done yet, and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be the game's real ending, because there are some plot points that come up and things that happen that you're like, alright, this is going to happen to resolve this. It's already laid this out. And it just doesn't happen. And you're sitting here looking at this like, what?
That's terrible.
Oh, like, I don't mind like alternate or different endings, but this is clearly what's supposed to happen. It hasn't happened after I beat the game.
That's another problem that I didn't know because I didn't finish the game.
Yeah.
I'm learning I need to finish games. Yeah, if you have alternate endings, don't be the one that you finish first.
At the very least, don't set up what the alternate ending is going to be and build that like that's what's going to happen. Because it just feels like it's unfinished through the first playthrough, or at least beating the boss the first time. You don't actually have to play back through the entire game. It just puts you right before the last boss.
Oh my lord.
I know it. But I like started doing some of the stuff that's opened up after that. There is some post-game content for people who are big on that.
Cool. Yeah, this game has potential. Slight potential, but...
Yeah, just that difficulty, though, and just the ending is kind of left unsatisfying.
That's annoying.
Yeah. I'm somewhat used to that, though. Like, I almost expect most games I'm going to play to not have the greatest of endings.
Right.
Which is a terrible thing to expect.
I think games need a kind of story aspect some.
You're cutting out quite a bit again.
Oh my goodness! Let's see what else I can do. I have no idea what it is this time. I'm gonna do this and see if that helps. But yeah, actually, we covered all the notes that I took on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that covers most of the game. I mean, I can't comment on the alternate ending / the ending that's supposed to happen, clearly.
We're hoping. you might go back and have the alternate ending and it still not cover anything that you...
Like, you made it to the mountaintop, right? where you got the
Yeah.
codes and research paper from that one guy, and
Yeah.
he mentions the putting a clone back together from their energy.
Mhm.
The events will happen. You know that's going to come up again, and that's what doesn't
Yeah,
come
well, it
up.
should. Oh.
That's what just
What?
doesn't get mentioned.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
Oh my god.
Because when you would think it would come up, I'm like, oh, this is going to come up like here in a minute. Like this is going to be very important in like the next act, but no, it's not.
I don't understand.
It doesn't come up again, and then the game's over.
You have to. Okay, this is what you have to do. You have to play the alternate ending. I have to play through it, and we have to combine like a review recap. Hopefully, that alternate ending will explain some things.
Or at least bring that up.
Because if it doesn't, I'm sorry, this game is done for me. I'm not doing it. I will not be a happy camper.
But yeah, like any problem I have with this game, like it's not a problem I can't say I haven't had with like even games I really like.
Hmm.
And the biggest problems it has is basically, well, what I just mentioned, and bizarre difficulty spike, and some boring main characters, which that's kind of a problem with a lot of RPGs, is your main character tends to be one of the least interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, like I'm with you, I really like Legend of Dragoon, and I'm not saying Dart's a bad character, but
He's very underdeveloped.
compare him to the rest of your party, basically. And he's
Right.
about the least interesting person you get.
Hmm. But I can't remember. Can't you switch? Can't switch him out. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't think you can in Dragoon. Like the earliest game I can
No.
think of that lets you switch out your main character was Chrono Trigger after the whole Kingdom of Zeal Fallout stuff happens. Once you get him back, you can switch him out of
Yeah.
the party.
I think that's what I was. They're not the same game at all, but I knew one of them did that I played. Um, not at all. Yeah, so I'm interested because my main thing with Alphadia Genesis was the lack of story where there needed to be story. And kind of like that whole thing at the beginning where, I mean, the king sends you off even though you clearly stated you didn't want to be a part of his thing.
Well, I can understand that,
And
like,
you're,
to outsource to guild help because his own troops are too busy.
with
Like,
what, though?
with, like, I know, I think it has to do with, like, keeping an eye on the
I mean,
area, their own investigations. Like, there's things I can imagine they're busy with, but you're not really given the context to how large this army is. How,
I mean, it's a kingdom. You would think that someone that he knows and trusts, he can go. Like, he doesn't know Frey that
or
well.
maybe he does.
Or maybe he does. We don't know. He knows his sister. And that's it. They don't. I mean, even if there is like a backstory as to why he does what he does, at least tell us because.
Like, from in-game, this is why I can gather Frey was chosen, is I kind of got the feeling your sister was one of, if not the top researcher on clones, so it would make sense that she would be the one to investigate. Like,
Mhm.
alright, we know how strong Frey is. He won the tournament. He did amazing last time, just losing out to Corone. He is more than capable, and, well, it would make sense to send someone with this girl that knows her personally. They could work well together. So I can see easy justification for reaching out to Frey over other people.
Yeah, I agree. When you put it that way, it makes sense. I think then what gets me is that whole dialogue with asking him to be a part of the king's army. Like, maybe that was unnecessary then because it just threw me off.
Yeah,
Like,
that-
he said he said no to the army. He doesn't want any part of it. And then the king asks him specifically to go do this.
I never got the impression it's that he wants no part of the army. He just doesn't want to be beholden to just serving them, which is why he works with the guild. He can help them. He'd have outreach to help other people that maybe the kingdom doesn't currently have an interest or desire to help for one reason or another. He wouldn't be tied to basically the ideologies and views of the kingdom. Not that he's opposed to helping them at all, but it
Okay,
doesn't
yeah, I can see
much
that.
of a context of what else he does,
Mm-hmm.
or if there's any reason he opposes the kingdom's views and ideologies at all.
Because,
So
I
I can
mean,
understand. It just could have helped to flesh it out a bit more, and it wouldn't have taken a whole lot to do so.
or differently. Like, they could have spent just the exact same amount of time just explaining it differently. Because it was all, like, the main knight that's retiring. He was dead set on him joining, and he's, like, asking over and over again. Other people are asking him, and he just keeps saying no. So by that time, you just
Just
get this.
establish he's awesome is what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, and they failed because even though it's like, yeah, you're really good at what you do, my thing was leave him alone. He clearly said no, and then all of a sudden the king's like, hey, I need you to do something. And I'm like, did you not just hear what I said? No.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have tried to build him up too much because it can create a bit of a disconnect with what's going on if it's
It
done
did for
badly.
me. It definitely did for
Like,
me.
maybe if they just left it at the guy, the knight he beats, going, "Hey, you just beat me. I'd really like you to join. You could help the kingdom." No, and just leave it at that. That would have been.
That would have been a lot better. Because then he could have been like, Frey could have been like, nah, I like where I am in the guild. This is kind of why I joined. And then the king give this opportunity and be like, okay, I'll do this because I still get to be part of the guild, blah, blah, blah. But the way they did it, it just sounded like Frey was so attest to doing it.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to make him seem like so strong and awesome,
Hmm.
and they just
Which they
kind of
totally
tried to
did not.
do too much.
Between all of that and then him being so naive, I did not get that he was strong at all.
I agree. Grande, on the other hand, I buy
Grande's
him.
badass. Yeah.
Going back to him, I think he
Well,
is.
it's Grande's adventure, not.
It should be, because him and Gale, his son or adopted
That's his
son,
name. Thank you. Yes.
yeah, adopt. Like at first, I thought it was actually father, but you get like the whole adopted thing, which
That's okay. I thought Gale was female at first.
I thought
It's
it
like,
was.
why do you keep calling him your son? I don't understand.
No, maybe it's all like the anime I've watched, but I think I've gotten pretty good at immediately identifying this stuff.
Yeah, if I had read his name, I would have caught on. I didn't even read his name. I just thought it was a chick.
But no, like one reason I love Grande is I can't think of another RPG off the top of my head with a character quite like that. Like not the fact he's the father figure, but normally you expect like the child to be on like some quest looking for the parent, finding out what's going on, but here you're playing as the parent, just trying to find out what has happened with his son.
And he's not afraid to like beat the crap out of his son if he did something stupid. Like, I love that.
Yeah, like if every character was as well written as Grande was, this game would be way higher on my list.
Oh yeah, definitely. Between character customization and story, if they had just focused on those two a little bit more, it'd be fine. It'd be perfect. The gameplay was good enough. The battle system was great.
One other thing like I really like about their battle system, which it's another thing I have, like one of the few really unique features they added was the support yell setup. Like not so
Yeah.
much that a character you can like activate attacks from support members. It's more whoever you have in your support can create various effects.
Hmm.
So even who you choose not to have in your main battle party becomes relevant.
Yeah, I like that too. I kind of felt like I was playing some weird JRPG form of Street Fighter, not Street Fighter. Marvel versus Capcom.
It's an interesting way to look at it. But
Like that's just the first game I think about when you're able to summon the other person to come help you for a minute, and then they dip out. That's just the first thing that comes to mind.
but yeah, like again, I played games like some of the Atelier titles and Mana Chemia, which you can switch in and out with the characters,
Hmm.
or just do attacks from support. But Alphadia adds in like the weird after activating it, like your party gains the bonus defense, increased drop rates based off who it is you have in your support.
Yeah.
I believe it was who was it? Your sister and Henry. Henry. Walter, not Henry.
I was gonna say.
Henry. But I'd keep them in because it gave you the plus 50% chance to critical hits.
Hmm.
And my whole strategy was just magic murder punching with Grande and Prey. So the damage you could do with the right setup is incredible.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if the I guess gameplay, if the battling was not necessarily more difficult, just different challenges, kind of maybe
Yeah.
a little bit more challenging, that whole setup would have been phenomenal. You could have used strategy like you did to get through some things. I just feel like it's not needed because it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you don't understand the strategy and it did get difficult, you just have to grind a little bit and you'd be fine.
I'm not too sure that would apply on the endgame normal mode just because of the ridiculousness of the damage scaling.
That's true. I have
I
not been in the end game.
Like, I grind a lot in RPGs because I like to grind.
Yeah.
So I even like spent a while like gaining a large number of levels right at end game when I saw the damage hikes happening.
Hmm.
And the thing is, the damage is scaling so much faster than the defense is. The
It's
grind
so
doesn't
weird.
help as much as one would think.
Huh.
It's
Yeah,
biz-
I'll just have to do it and see because that's just weird.
it was so bizarre to see that happen.
I don't know. I don't know if they meant for that to happen, like, or if it was
I,
just not paying attention.
I have no idea.
Everything they did in this game is questionable. I don't.
But yeah, eventually I need to actually get that alternate ending, but I'm kind of playing Citizens of Earth right now.
Know how that alternate ending is, and if it answers the questions we want. Because if not, I'm just gonna flip a table. I don't know.
And what I'm almost hoping it doesn't, because certain scenes that have happened may be better if it doesn't resolve the way I think it's going to.
Hmm. If they play it out right, they still have to,
Yeah.
which I don't have hopes for. So.
No, like the ending wouldn't be so bad if they didn't have a few other things set up to make you think there is going to be something else there.
Hmm.
But it's
And
just so obviously something missing.
is this like a sequel to another game?
I don't think so.
I feel like it is. I don't know.
I really
I
don't.
looked it up once, and the way it read, there was something with it. I don't know.
Well, it's the latest in a series of games from this developer who apparently has made a lot of similar titles before. I don't know if any of them ever
Oh,
came inside, but I'm
that might.
pretty sure it's not an actual sequel.
Mm, that's why it was off.
I kind of want to go back and play Legend of Dragoon now.
I have been.
I've
I
already.
pulled my PlayStation out. I've been playing it recently. I think that's why I'm on like a Legend Dragoon hike. It's 'cause
I've already
it's my
like did a
favorite.
classics review of it a while ago on my site too.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for that.
Like I wouldn't rank it among my favorite RPGs, but I do really enjoy it. Except that fucking gust of wind dance. Like, that is the hardest move in that game to do. Is
Oh
that
my
stupid gust
goodness.
of wind dance.
All I can remember was Lance being really difficult until he died. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that got gust of wind. It's the last one he gets by leveling it, like level 11. He gets all
Oh,
of
that's
his
right.
by level 11, and it has that weird pattern that's just changing speeds on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get like the
Yep. All I can
counter.
remember from him. God, that counter though.
Like, what was the pattern on the gust of wind? Like, doot, 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 doot. And it's like that middle
I
one
don't
that
even
hits.
remember
It's nuts. That's what it is. But yes,
that. He was annoying until he died, and then I was like, "Oh,
I like to wait. Like,
I
I don't think his
kind of
name was
miss Lance now."
Lavitz. Lavitz was his name.
Oh, I always called him Lance. That's right. I always do this. I always call him Lance. Lavitz. I'm so sorry. That
I liked
will
Lavitz.
never change. I will forever call him Lance.
Got the whole bromance with him and Dart through the beginning. It's great.
I know. I think I just found him annoying because of the harpoon, harpoon, harpoon. It's like, shut up.
Like, I like when games are good about killing off characters, as horrible as that sounds. Like, especially when I really like the character. Like, if
Like,
you do it right, you can get, like, a big impact and, like, really invest you in what's going on around you. And that's what happened when Lance got killed.
exactly.
Especially, it just happens almost out of nowhere. By this guy, like, you know this dude's strong. This cloak dude. So, like, if we try to fight him, things are going to go bad. Then you see Lance fight him, but you're not expecting him to just get straight murdered.
Yeah, no. The only thing that
What was that?
it's the only thing that gives it away is how easy he levels.
Well, he gets replaced with the guy that gets all the same abilities anyway, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're not losing anything, but it still sucks.
Yeah. I was so sad. But yes. Any other points on Alphadia Genesis you can think of? I think we pretty much got everything.
I think, yeah, despite how much we keep veering off, I think all of that's all of my notes.
I think I only had like 5 little check notes I had on here. Like, I only have written down Grande. It's a good entry for new players to RPGs, but you'd already covered that, so I didn't bother bringing that one up. There are some good plot twists in the game.
Yeah, I had all
Yeah.
in case we got into heated discussion. It's like, no, I'm ready. Debate.
I know, I wasn't expecting too heated a discussion because, well, we kind of agreed on quite a bit from just basing it off the reviews.
hmm And I can say no shame in saying I'm backing off of the story with some pretty good points on that.
Yeah, I can easily see why someone wouldn't get as into the story because it can feel rather cliche at times. Like, all these characters don't really deviate much from what you would expect the tropes to do.
hmm
But I think it handles them all pretty well outside of, again, the 2 leads.
Oh, Frey.
And, you know, Walter was just kind of funny to watch him suffer.
Oh my gosh. The little sprite flipping out every time, like shaking violently.
No, I think my favorite is one of the side quests you can do later on is to find like this rare legendary liquor. You know, those weird little runner things.
hmm
And you're supposed to like get a tail feather from it. After you like chase it around the continent for a while, freaking Walter just steps out of the little party thing. He's like, let me handle this. And it basically just like turns around and lets him take one without a fight. You're like, huh. So, but when you turn in,
what is with all of them?
I don't know.
Go ahead, sorry.
But when you turn in the feather to the guy and you tell him what happened, you find out that's basically their mating ritual.
Oh my god.
And Frey
I don't remember that, or I didn't get to it.
It's one of the last quests, I think. Frey just starts giving him so much shit. Like, hey man, don't worry, I'm not going to judge you for what kind of things you're into. Like, what? Where did this come from?
Oh my god.
Like, that felt like the most real thing I'd ever heard come out of Frey's mouth is when he just said that to Walter out of nowhere.
I think what they tried to do in that instance was Frey takes so much crap from this guy. and this is the brooding guy, right?
Yeah, Walter.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure, because so much crap for crisis can be all the time. I think it's just him waiting for the opportune moment like that to just bust his balls. Like,
yes. I think that was probably
I'm not going to judge you.
Moment for him. Just out of all of his dialogue, that's the one thing he said that sounds like something you'd actually hear somebody say to somebody else.
Yeah, the whole time, Walter, those birds are infatuated with him.
I love it. Never even
tries
to explain it. Lickers.
Yeah, weird name for creatures.
But yeah.
He's such a jerk. Why do these birds love him so much? And it's all throughout the game. You see it.
I know. I love they just never even bother trying to explain this. It's just this weird little fact
like we just
around you. The game has a lot of little things like that I really appreciated in the writing. I think that's why I could overlook some of the bigger flaws in the grander scheme of the plot and characters.
Aya's sister says a lot of really cute, funny things.
Indeed.
And Grande, of course.
Just everything with Grande.
Everything with Grande ever.
I don't think there's a bad scene with him in that entire game. I wish this was his game.
Right, just replace Frey. Let's just make it Grande.
Just find a way
how he came about, how... Let's just remake this game.
Pull a kick-ass. Like, the movie was about kick-ass at first, but make no mistake, the later half, it's Hit Girl the movie. That's what they should have done with it. It starts off with Frey and Corona, and just after Grande joins, it is now his story. Frey was just kind of the catalyst that started things rolling and got all the major players together.
Game, that was the thing.
Oh, what was that?
Frey and Corona, it would be.
Oh, they are the biggest anchors that drag that game down.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They just don't feel flawed at all as people. I know they kind of tried to do it with Corona, like she's kind of reckless, but it like comes up once and never again.
Yeah, and it's like she's reckless, but it's because she's really not that big of a thing.
Yeah.
I want to know how the alternate ending works out.
It's probably going to be terrible. Just in the back of my mind, it's going to ruin something for me. I know it. Maybe that's why I've been focusing
How about this?
on Heathensworth.
I will try to finish it real quick, and then get the alternate ending, and I'll let you know if it's worth it.
I'm sure I'll get around to it here soon. It's a while before my next game comes out, and I'm sure I'll finish Citizens of Earth by then.
What's the next game for you?
want to say Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires,
Woo!
but I've got so many games on list to pick up. Most of them I think are coming out come March. I think there's 5 titles I'm grabbing that month.
Yeah, I don't know what my next game is.
Just waiting for him to send you something.
Yep.
So do you only do PC games on the site?
Yeah. I don't have any of the high-gen consoles.
I have everything except an Xbox One. Like I even got like both the handhelds.
Oh yeah, I do have a 3DS. I guess I could do something on that.
I sometimes wonder if I play too many games.
No, there's never enough games.
This is an expensive hobby.
It really is. I did not realize this going into it at like age 5.
You know, it wouldn't be so bad if you just like picked one console or system and stuck with it. But I had to go ahead and pick up everything.
I don't know. I'm the PC person, so it's like everything ports to me anyway. So I get all the games regardless.
I'm not sure if
Like,
Bloodborne's
even
going to come to PC actually, because I think it's published by Sony now.
Maybe not. I know everything that was exclusive on Xbox One is coming to PC.
Yeah, of course it is. They're not going to miss out on that cash cow. It's Microsoft.
Yep.
They're going to make money off both system sales.
Mhm.
Alrighty then, well, I think that pretty much wraps up the discussion on Alphadia Genesis.
I agree. So there you guys have it. If you're new to JRPGs, definitely try it out. If you want something to just lay back and chill with and get some cheap laughs, check it out.
Yeah, if you already have
That's
a
all I gotta
lot
say
of
about
games you're playing right now, probably stick with those.
Don't
And
worry about it.
you have Citizens of Earth out, which also
Mhm.
fantastic for new gamers, and it's funnier.
What is it?
Citizens of Earth.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
have a system you can get Alphadia Genesis on, you can get Citizens of Earth. And in spite of some crashing
Yeah, I
issues
might
the
check
game
it out.
seems to have, it's probably the better purchase. But if you already have it, and you have nothing else to get, Alphadia Genesis is a good buy. Such high praise.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Like,
Such
well,
high praise from 2 people kind of bashing it.
well, yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope we can do this again.
I'm sure one day we'll play a similar title again. I have enough games out this year. It's bound to happen. I've still got at least
Yeah.
30 plus games to go through.
Oh, I'm sure we'll cross paths then again.
And also thanks to everyone who's jumped in and out of viewing this whole time. And enjoy your guys' night.
Good night.